I welcome you all for the next topic, that is unitary features of constitution. In the previous discussion, we had a discussion over the federal features of the constitution. In that, we discussed about the several federal features like dual polity, written constitution, division of powers, supremacy of constitution, bicameralism, independent judiciary, and so on. In this particular feature, we will see how it differs from the federal features. There are several unitary features of our Indian constitution. Let us see each and every feature in detail. First is the strong center. The division of power is in favor of the center and is highly inequitable from the federal angle. Firstly, the union list contains more subject than the state list. Secondly, the more important subject have been included in the union list. Thirdly, the center has overriding authority over the concurrent list. Finally, the residuary power have also been left with the center, while in the US they are vested in the state. Thus, the constitution has made the center very strong. Second feature is state not indestructible. Unlike the other federation or the federal system, the states in India have no right to territorial integrity. The parliament can be unilateral, action change the area, boundaries, or name of the state. Moreover, it requires only a simple majority and not a special majority. Hence, the Indian Federation is an indestructible union of destructible state. The American Federation, on the other hand, is described as indestructible union of indestructible state. The third feature is the single constitution. Usually, in the federal system, the state have the right to frame their own constitution separate from that of the center. In India, on the contrary, no such power is given to the state. The Constitution of India embodies not only the constitution of center but also those of the state. Both the center and the state must operate within the single frame. The only exception in this regard is the case of Jammu and Kashmir, which has its own constitution. Then fourth feature is the flexibility of the constitution. The process of constitutional amendment is less rigid than what is found in other federation. The bulk of the constitution can be amended by the unilateral action of parliament, either by simple majority or by special majority. Further, the power to initiate an amendment to the constitution lies only with the center. In US, the state can also propose the amendment to the constitution. Fifth feature talks about the no equality of state representation. This is particularly the state are given representation in the Rajya Sabha on the basis of the population. Hence, the member varies from 1 to 31. In US, on the other hand, the principle of equality of representation of the state in the upper house is fully recognized. Thus, the American Senate has 100 members, 2 from each state. This principle is regarded as safeguard for smaller state. Sixth feature is about the emergency provision. The Constitution stipulates 3 types of emergencies, that is, national, state, and financial. During an emergency, the central government becomes all powerful and the state goes to the total control of the center. It converts the federal structure into the unitary one without a formal amendment of the constitution. This kind of transformation is not found in any other federation. Then, single citizenship. In spite of the dual polity, the Constitution of India, like that of Canada, adopt the system of single citizenship. There is only Indian citizenship and no separate state citizenship. All citizens, irrespective of the state in which they are born or reside, enjoy the same right all over the country. The other federal states like US, Switzerland, Australia have dual citizenship, that is, a national and the state. The eighth feature talks about the integrated judiciary. Indian Constitution has established an integrated judicial system with the Supreme Court at the top and the state high courts below it. This single system of court enforce both the central law as well as the state law. In the US, on the other hand, there is a double system of court whereby the federal laws are enforced by the federal judiciary and the state law by the state judiciary. All India services is the ninth feature of the Indian Constitution. In the US, the federal government and the state government have their separate public services. In India also, the state and centers have their separate public services, but in addition, there are all Indian services like IAS, IPS and IFS, which are common to both the centers and the states. The member of these services are recruited and trained by the center, which also possesses ultimate control over them. These services violate the principle of federalism under the Constitution. The 10th feature is about the integrated audit machinery. The Comptroller and the Auditor General of India audits the account of not only the central government but also those of state. But his appointment and removal is done by President without consulting the states. Hence, this office restricts the financial autonomy of the state. The American Comptroller General, on the contrary, has no role with respect to the account of the statement at in. Then, next is Parliament authority over state list. Even in limited sphere of authority allotted to them, the state do not have exclusive control. The Parliament is empowered to legislate on any subject of the state list if Rajya Sabha passes a resolution to the effect in the national interest. This means that the legislative competence of the Parliament can be extended without amending the Constitution. Notably, this can be done when there is no emergency of any kind. 12th is about the appointment of governor. Governor, who is the head of the state, is appointed by the President. He holds the office during the pleasure of the President. He also acts an agent at the center. Through him, the center exercises the control over the state. The American Constitution, on the contrary, provided for the elected head in the state. In this respect, India adopted the Canadian system. The 13th is the integrated election machinery. The Election Commission conduct elections not only to the central legislature but also to the state legislature. But this body is constituted by the President and the state have no say in this matter. The position is the same with regard to the removal of its member as well. On the other hand, US has a separate machineries for the conduct of election at the federal and state level. And the 14th and the last feature talks about the veto over the state bill. The governor is empowered to reserve the certain types of bill passed by the state legislature for the consideration of President. The President can withhold this assent to such bill not only in the first instance but also in the second instance. Thus, the President enjoys absolute veto over state bills. But in the US and Australia, the states are autonomous within their field and there is no provision for any such reservation. This shows the general and typical difference between the federal and unitary system. If we see the federal system or the government, there are two levels, central and state. Their political powers are shared by the two levels of government as in center and the state. The Constitution is rigid and codified. Two different types of laws are enforced and active in the central and the state level, where in case of central unitary government, only one level of government is there, that is central government, or we can say the national government. Political power held by the central government only. The Constitution is flexible and uncodified, whereas only one set of law, as only the center is in the power, so only one set of law for whole country is applicable. In this particular video, we discussed the unitary features of the constitution, and we also seen how it differs from the federal system. I hope you understood all the features very well. Thank you for watching.